Yeah. You know what it is. It's your boy Excalibur. Welcome to another special episode of the Miller Experience Sports. And today is truly special, guys. We have two special guests today. Mr. BJ Mack, I'm assuming he's junior, and Brian Mack Sr. Am I saying that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, bet. So BJ, you don't play for South Carolina anymore. You played last year, correct?
Yes, sir. I played last year.
All right, just to give people a little stats so they know who you are, man. You played 3 years at Walker College, 85 games. You played had 69 starts. You had an average of 14.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game. When you attended South Carolina, you played and start all 34 games, helping the Gamecocks to tie a program record with 26 wins and route to returning to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2017. You averaged 13.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.13 assists per game. Was the team's top foul shooter, leading the team in percentage 80.1%. Makes 109 attempts, 136 at the charity stripe, ranked in the top 20 in the SEC in all three categories. All said and done, you was a freaking beast, sound like to me, man. I want to
Appreciate
welcome
it.
BJ Mack and Brian Mack. What's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you?
How y'all
All
doing?
right,
Thank y'all for having us on.
man. I appreciate you guys coming on, man. So you guys came to my attention. I was on Facebook, and I'm not gonna say tell the whole story. I want you guys to tell it, but BJ, you did something that a lot of young men your age don't do with their money. And how old are
Uh,
you?
I'm 24.
24 years old. I know 24 years old. I wouldn't do what you did, especially if I had that much money. But you took your NIL money and used it to your father to help him build a barbershop, I believe, in Charlotte, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, tell us more about that, brother.
So I originally came with the idea to my dad because I'm in a sports and entertainment management major. So I'm doing that for my master's. So doing that, I came to him and I was thinking about it because he's been talking about getting a new shop. Been talking about owning it for like since I was about 10. He's always talked about it since that was like the last time he had owned one. So he's just always been talking about it like, hey, I've been thinking about a idea about owning the shop. So, and I came to him about it. At first, he was reluctant about it and was like, I don't know if I should take your money about it, just like any parent would, you know. But then the more I told him, I was like, hey, this can help me for in the future of learning businesses, learning how to start up different businesses for me, and then also that's something I can do. I can always come back home and just I know I have a place at. So just always doing that. So I'll let him take the rest of it.
Well, yeah, that's how it went down. I mean, he came to me and said that he wanted to start his first business, and I asked him what it was, and like he said, he wanted me to do the barbershop. At first, I was like, no parent wants their child to spend money that they've earned on them.
Word.
Word. So as a family, we sat down, me, him, and my wife, and he had spoken with her about it more in depth. So, we sat down and he explained, like, Dad, I really want to learn the things about starting a business from the ground up. And what
Word.
better way to do it than with you? So that's what we said. Okay, BJ, if you're going to do this, let's do it right. I'm going to teach you the ins and outs of starting it. A barbershop's not a very big expense. It's about the creativity that you use inside to do it. So we can get you vital information without spending exorbitant amounts of money. Is what I'm
Word.
trying to say. Get you your information on how to build credit, you know, business credit, not just your personal credit. It's totally different. Doing things where you can take your brand no matter when you stop playing, because one day that ball's going to stop.
Yep.
So you've got a brand that you can build on. And now, whether it's comeback, you've got years of where community support is there behind you. You've got business credit. Now, if you want to go out and do whatever it is you decide in your life, you've got a leg up. So that was my thinking on it. So that's what we sat down and did.
That's amazing, man. I mean, I must commend you on that. That sounds more magnanimous than, if anything. Like Ernest said, most kids, they're burning that money. They think all of that money is disposable income. if you will. They don't think about, the future. Like you said, that basketball is going to stop one day, and it's important that you are able to, have a life after that. And your father is telling you right. That business, you know, credit as well as your personal credit take you a long way. Most, I was looking at an article where Shaq was talking about how he went to buy his mother's house, and people ask him, "Okay, let me see your credit. I had to put your credit." He's like, "Wait, what?"
Wow.
You know, that's a
Wow.
huge part of your growth. And to understand that at the age, and earlier, it's important because a lot of time, let's be real, a lot of families, they don't think about that. Our parents, they never talk about that because they think that credit is a bad thing,
Well,
which
that was the main thing with it with BJ. It's one of the things when we sat down with, I told him, I said, man, you could have millions of dollars, but if your credit's terrible, you're still giving up more money than what you have to give up because you're going to go get it at a higher interest rate. So let's play the
absolutely.
game smart. That's what people in our community think about. We think, oh, because I got cash on hand. To me, that's just an easier way for them to steal money from you when you don't necessarily have to give me that money.
Yep.
You're saving thousands of dollars in interest,
Right.
compared to it. So, that was one of the things we put into it. And I credit all of that part of it to my wife. She was a business management major in college. So she's
Hmm.
been on BJ about making sure, he's not one of those statistics, that he's going to manage his money right and he's going to do things about it. Because we all know, certain kids and certain demographics, we don't get a lot of opportunities. You got to be able to capitalize on the ones you get and put yourselves in position the way you don't have to work as hard.
100%.
Senior, let me ask you a question. I just want to give credit to how many kids do you have in general? BJ's the only one.
No, I have a daughter. She's
You have a
actually
daughter.
college
So two in
criminal
total.
justice major. She's gonna be
Okay,
BJ lawyer.
what school?
North Carolina Central.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I
Yeah,
just
she
want to
said she's
give
gonna
props
be
to you and your
BJ's
wife,
lawyer.
sir.
She said she's gonna be BJ's attorney.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Hey man, I just want to give props to you and your wife, man, for raising, you know, to a king and a queen just to do the right thing in life, man, because that says a lot. What BJ did, that says a lot about his upbringing. You know what I'm saying? We don't hear a lot of that in our community, especially from a young man like BJ. So just props to you and your wife for, excellent job. Great job for
Man, we
how you
appreciate it.
raising. Yeah,
She's
man.
actually she's actually out. She had shoulder surgery about a week ago, so
Yeah.
she's displaced. So she'd be here, but she can hear us.
So let me ask you this. How was your relationship with BJ growing up? Like, did y'all always have that bond with business? You knew you want to do something together when he become an adult? Or BJ, did you know you always wanted to do something with your father business wise when you became an adult? How was our relationship?
So growing up for basketball, we always tried to keep basketball separate than like outside the game. So basketball growing up, it was rough. Some
Mhm.
days I wanted to quit because how hard he was, but I
Mhm.
knew it was coming from a great place, and he loved the
Yeah.
game of basketball. So I was always like, "Hey, I always know like once I step off the floor, he's just my dad now. That's how it's just gonna be. Nothing's gonna carry off the court. We're just gonna let it be on the court. And like at times it was hard. Well, sometimes it might flood over. But as I got older, it mellowed out. But now, like I knew growing up, like I always wanted to be able to do something for my mom and dad. They sacrificed a lot for me and my sister. So I always knew at least I was gonna be able to if I made a lot of money or no money, I was gonna figure out a way to show them that, hey, like I appreciate everything that y'all done for me. So right now, I kind of got my dad out the way a little bit, and so man, we gotta working on getting my mom so that
What
right
you plan
now.
to do for moms? What's your plan for moms?
So I gotta keep that on the low. So she's listening right now.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Man, but I'm super proud of you, brother. I'm super proud of you, man. That's like I said, when I saw that on Facebook, that crossed my attention. I'm like, wow, I gotta get you in respond to your DMs, BJ. I hit your dad up. I
Man,
had to hit the old
I got.
man up. BJ didn't want to look at his DMs unless the
I
chick.
told him to get that up, man, to let somebody do that, but he just so in control of that. But yeah, like earlier, man. I mean, me and BJ, father and son wise, we've
Yeah,
always had a very, very unique relationship.
yeah,
One that I would tell everybody, please don't try to mimic
yeah.
it. Please don't, because my house works in it's people would call it chaotic madness. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what's going on, but everybody on the outside may not be able to understand it. You see what I'm saying? But somehow, through the grace of God, we made it here. And like I said in previous articles, I had to. There was a time when, oh yeah, what
Like
was it?
six, seven,
Seventh grade,
yeah,
where I
seventh
thought
grade.
I broke him. I just
Mhm,
really thought I broke him, and we
mhm,
had to sit down as a family again. And I
mhm,
had to sit back and say, is my love for the game of basketball more than my love for my son? Well, that
mhm,
was a quick decision. So now
mhm,
let's pivot. And the big thing about that and my family is we had to come to a understanding for us. And this is something that I want people in our community to hear, especially that's dealing with AAU stuff. No matter what's going on, no matter who's around, you in that house have to come to a decision that's good with that house. Win, lose, or draw. Now, BJ, no, I'll say I was a poster child for dysfunctional AAU dads. I'll take that. But when we had this discussion, there's no way I can be that guy and all of a sudden turn to the guy who's saying nothing.
mhm.
We can't do that. That's too far of a stretch for anybody. So when I say you have to come to a happy median for the family and be able to deal with that, because in the end, that AAU and all of that'll go. There are going to be a lot of promises, a lot of situations, a lot of stuff promises to people, but you have to have in your household, we got to do it with us, win, lose, or draw, or indifferent. Because when it's all said and done, us as black male fathers, we're going to have to be there to pick up the pieces,
Mhm.
good, bad, or indifferent. So,
I agree.
you got to make sure that we're doing it our way. So that way, if they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. We could always walk out of it saying, hey, it wasn't in the cards, bro, but we did it the way we felt it was. We didn't have anybody else come in and tell us this, that, and the other. Now, when it didn't work, that person is off in the wind, gone, and we
Mhm.
got to figure it out.
Yeah, the blueprint, if you will. Now, when I hear you talking about this, and you hear so many kids who get burnout, especially when they're doing travel basketball, AAU, high middle school, high school. A lot of burnout happens. How many times you felt like you burnt out? Dad, I need a break. And how'd y'all put the pieces together? Like you said, the family has to, the household has to be together. So how many times was it? Because I know kids that I've trained, they had those breakdowns. I don't want to do this anymore. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, they felt like, oh, I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready to go.
You need
How
that
many
rest.
times in your career so far that you felt like you've been burnt out?
I've only felt like I was burnt out when like I really got to college. That was really it. Like after like my when I turned my sophomore going into my junior year, when COVID was happening, I had lost 5 family members in a week. So that's when I really was like, I don't know if I can do basketball right now. And I was like, I had a lot going on with basketball, making sure I was like, that's one of the reasons why I came home was making sure that I want to be able to see when my parents can see me, my grandparents can see me. Because right now in the pandemic, you never knew what was going to happen tomorrow. So that's
Right.
one of the reasons why I went to Wofford. So once had figured that out, I had talked to the coaches. Like I had took a week away and was just focusing on my family and making sure everybody was good. And then that's when I came back and everybody was like, "You look a lot better, you sound a lot better, and everything." So that's really the only time that I felt burnt out because I love the game of basketball, and that's always going to be a place for me. It'd be a happy place for me. I'm never too up, never too down about pretty much anything in life because I know like I can't I gotta control my dad always tells me like control what you can control. So I know
Absolutely.
in life things I'm not gonna be able to control. So if I can't control it, is I can't be too mad about it, too down about it, or too happy. I just got to be able to get through it.
And like
That's
for
right.
me,
Yeah.
as a dad and a coach and an administrator in AAU, something I used to tell my kids and my parents: there are 3 games going on here. There's not just one game. Kids, you are playing the actual game on the court. That is all I need you worried about. Parents, you're playing the politic game outside of my lines. You can politic all the way up to the black line. On the other side of that black line, it don't mean. You see what I'm saying? Now, administration people, we got to get them where they want to be. And that will separate who's going to be who. And there's, like I said, it's got to be a clear understanding all the way down. Because we get, and I know a lot of the reasons why kids get too burnt out because they're involved in everything. I'm involved in making sure I get to the right tournaments. I'm involved in making sure I'm jockeying for position on this team just like this dude. And I still got to go play. They're 15, 16 years old. Then you're talking about life and hormones and all of this kicking in. So something's got to give somewhere. So that's why I try to keep kids. You just worry about this. Parent, you do what you got to do because all of you going to do it. Me sitting here telling you not to do it, that ain't going to do nothing but encourage you. But in the whole structure of it, we got to make sure that those that want to give this, that are dedicated to it, are getting what they need out of it. Because
Right.
that's where they're going to burn out when they're doing their part. You see what I'm saying? And the other pieces aren't working together. If all of the pieces are working together, it should be an easy transition for that kid to get whatever it is that's out there for them, whether that's D2, D1, Division 3. It's all going to depend on the work you put in.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah, good. So I'm just reading, just looking at some of the headlines, talk about how you use your NIL earnings to, help your father, achieve his business dreams. We're about 3 or 4 years into NIL, basically. Do you think that having parents that had a good business sense kind of prepared you for the ins and outs of NIL and kind of navigating that better than most other players? Or
Yes, I do. I think for like with nowadays with NIL, it's crazy. There's an unlimited amount that a kid can make in college. Like that is crazy to think about. So having a good business sense of like from your family or whoever is your guardian to be able to show you and tell you the ins and outs of how to manage money and how to make sure that you're spending it in the proper way is great. Amount of money that you make, a kid can make. Like I know Armando Baycott said he made $2 million since he was at Carolina. Who knows what a 18, 24, 25-year-old kid would do with $2 million. That's a crazy amount of money to give to a kid, and you have no business knowledgement or anything, or your mom, dad, guardian, family just say, go have fun, do what you please. You're going through that money. I'll give you less than 6 months with $2 million for an 18 to 24-year-old kid.
Well, I give it more to structure of your family. And I'm gonna tell you why. My wife always told BJ, look,
Mhm.
you're gonna get X amount of money every month. That's how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
And the respect level was there for her to be able to establish why that would. And it's like, and I don't knock parents because everybody has a different thing, but when it comes to certain things in life, you have to be able to have that respect the way you can take the lead on it. Like I told with BJ, you're a college student. What do you need all this money for? You ain't paying for no food. You don't even pay your own car payment. Your mama gonna pay it. You see, it's your money, but you ain't gonna go in there and click the button. You ain't writing no
Them
checks.
gal,
So what do you really need
them
all that money?
gal.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Let's really if you really want to tell me, yeah, I need all this money, why? Just so you can have access to it?
Yeah,
You'll
to
be
them
able to,
gal.
you got access. You'll be able to, anytime you want to show out, you can go right to the ATM, pull a little card, show the girl how much you got in there before you exit out. It's fine. It's just about being able to establish certain things and having them understand why you're
Yeah,
doing it instead of this is what we're doing. BJ
yeah,
knew, we had uh, one thing with South Carolina and a lot of the NILs, they're now having financial advisors as a part of it instead of the kid have to go take that money and pay outside of it. The money just goes to the kid and they'll have that kind of integrated in the NIL. We were lucky enough to have a guy that really explained to us in layman's terms what BJ needed to do.
that's
So,
what's up.
when his first check came in, it was like, okay, BJ, you got X amount of money. The taxes on it should be around this. For the first year, it should be around this. For the second year, his mom was like, okay, thank you for the first check. You're good. You see what I'm saying? So now we don't even have to worry about it. And that was something to where, okay, we explained to him the whys. And, when you do that as a family, then everybody is involved in it. And it's not like, oh, my parents just won't let me get your money. Kid, if you got a good enough reason, like there were a lot of times where BJ might have went over his limit, but he called his mom and explained to her, Mom, I want to do this. Mom, I want to do that. And she's like, okay, cool, go ahead. So it's not stopping you. It's just making sure at that young of age, you still know it's some kind of resistance there
There you go.
from you going hog wild.
Yeah,
Let's just stop for a minute and think. Mama ain't gonna always say yes. She ain't gonna always say yeah to nothing you do. So you just gotta. It's
yeah.
been like that throughout. You gotta pick and choose which ones you wanna win on in the long term.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
8 years old, you're like, what are taxes?
Yeah, yeah. Who's
I
this
got to
dude
do it
fighting?
every year.
Who is this dude fighting? And why he keep taking so much of my money?
Hey, now I heard you say, like, as far as University of South Carolina, because I can ask. I'm sure you can relate. Did they put classes together for you guys, like say a economics and personal finance or anything like that, to for the team, um, to tell y'all how to manage money outside of your parents? Did they do this for the team?
So for like they brought in like different financial advisors to talk about different things. Like they did a whole seminar, like a 3 day seminar, bringing in different people from different sides of financial management. So we had one guy named Moody, who is my financial advisor. He came in and he literally spent a whole day, like a whole 6 hours, taking breaks in between it because we was all not doing that, sitting there for 6 hours. But to sit in there and just talk about different financial ways of how he does stuff with different pros. Like I know he had me, he had Juice Wells that is at Ole Miss. He had Spencer Rattler, so he had a group of guys where he knew like, all right, this is the money that y'all are making, and how are we going to help you be able to later on when the ball stops, you still have enough money that where you can not have to play basketball, not have to work a job later on in your life. So he helped me a lot. So that I know for that, they did that at the beginning of the summer. And then once everybody figured out what's the amount of money that each person is making, then you can go on and they'll have somebody that they had inside for financial literacy for us.
Yeah, like most of the programs, and that's the wild wild west of it now with the NIL because coaches can't be involved. Because if a coach is involved, then in the money part of it, then that tears your locker room up. You see what I'm saying? Because it gets out, oh, I gave this guy more than what I gave this guy. So you have to have
Right.
your outside entities involved in it. Now, when you do that, it's really about the school because each state, until it gets regulated nationally, each state is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the difference with these kids transferring to these different situations. You may have had the perfect situation at one school, and then you go to another who is light years behind as far as NIL. Where I'll give you a great example. South Carolina was one of the first states when NIL came out to speak on the behalf of the NCAA. Well, Clemson, South Carolina, and other big names jumped in and said, you can't do that because that will kill us as far as recruiting in the SEC. So they gave them the 3-year window, and that's where the collectives come in. So still to the day, if you look at it, look how far Clemson and South Carolina are behind some of the major powers in the SEC. You know, you've got kids from right in major cities that are leaving, you know, to go to situations where they'll sit on the bench.
Yep.
They play at home, but they'll go sit on the bench because they have everything in place to be able to help this kid outside of that. So I think that's where, on the national level, a lot of it needs to be regulated to try to keep some kind of fluidity throughout it with state to state. Because, I mean, we can use the example of Arkansas this year. They gave, what, the kid $2 million? So you're talking about a kid that transferred from Tennessee where he was probably making less than $1 million. Now I'm going to double you up. That's life changing. That's generational changing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if there's no kinds of parameters around that, it's going to turn into what it is now. Who's got the biggest bank?
That's a big
Right.
You know, a bidding war. And that's where I think all of the crookedness comes in to it. Because you'll have, to me, it's no different than what the NCAA is. Now is a major time for the middleman, the guy who really doesn't care about any man. He's just trying to get a percentage. You know what I'm saying? Whoever he can sell this kid off to the best deal.
Right.
It's not about the best fit for the kid, basketball wise, cultural wise, all of the things that we know that really make a difference once you get there. You know, and that's why you see so much transition there, and kids just it's bad for basketball, but it's good for the kids. And I understand, you know, where a coach is like, man, you know, basically I'm renting these kids. But
Yeah.
in a lot of situations now, as a coach and a parent, I tell you, you can no longer lie to these kids.
Yeah.
You can no longer lay behind that lie and hold a kid because, you know, you knew him since then and all of this and keep him down because he can be non-productive for you, but somehow, some way, somebody else can get into him and make him a star. You know,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like, you know, the old guard of it where you can come in and tell these parents anything about these kids. Now it's like, well, even the most uneducated sport parent could come in and say, well, my son was in this conference. He averaged this amount of points, this amount of rebounds, this amount of assists. He was nationally ranked at this position. Well, this guy went to a school in your same conference and they gave him this. So you see
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Comparing apples to apples.
Now,
Yeah.
like you said, it's slotted out now. So, you know, coaches are like, and I can't really pull that game anymore. I got to really come in and be honest. And I think that's where the kids are winning right now, which has got a lot of people confused on how much, because like I said, you got a lot of control. I can't hold that kid on my bench for 2 years. And he's killing my senior in practice every day. But because this guy been loyal to me for 4 years when I was losing, and now he's here, I'm just putting him in on the loyalty card. But I got a kid who in practice that everybody, you know, wants to play. So you can't hold that kid back anymore.
BJ, I know we talked about this off camera, but I want to ask you this before we go. What's next for you professionally in basketball? What's your goal?
My goal is to get back. I know right now I'm focusing on going overseas, playing in Spain. But the goal is still to be able to get to the NBA, play in the NBA. That's still a goal of mine, but using the overseas route to be able to showcase the league of like, hey, I'm still wanting to be over here and using that.
Let me ask you now, be real with me now. Because your stats is way better than this guy here. You feel the way that Bronny was drafted and you wasn't?
No, I don't feel away. I know, I like me and my dad talked about it literally while the draft and everything was going on. I don't feel any type of way about it. Like LeBron's doing what any parent would do for his son.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's put in that position to where they can have their son play for them, play with them on the team, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, do he have the stats to back it up? No, he don't. But he's been under the gun as LeBron's son since he was born. So,
Yeah.
like him, and then plus he works out with pros pretty much every day. So he's training like a pro. Now for him to be able to be in the NBA, I feel like he's going to grow a lot in this year, and people are going to be see like, oh yeah, he's a pro. Like he can actually play. Because playing in college is way different than playing in the NBA. Playing in college, you have to play as a team, and coaches want select guys to get shots, to have the ball in their hand. But in the NBA, it's free flowing. I can shoot the ball whenever I want to, and coach not gonna say nothing to me. So it is what it is. The NBA is more like one-on-one based compared to college, where it's 5-on-5.
You know,
Are you getting yourself mentally prepared? Because I'm hearing that Europe, I mean, the overseas is much more physical.
Yes, sir. No,
You
I
think
am.
that'll help prepare you?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm getting mentally prepared. Like playing in the SEC is physical. Like that's the most physical league to play in for college basketball. So being able to take that physicality and be able to bring that, I know I'm playing against grown men that's literally like 40 playing. So I know like I got to be able. It's going to be different. It's going to
Yeah.
take time adjusting to the FIBA rules that they have over there compared to it is here in America. So that's going to be a little adjustment, but I feel like I'm prepared for it.
Good.
And make sure you know the laws in the area you playing too. Make sure you're familiar with the laws.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I know I'm not doing nothing I ain't supposed to be doing.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Just make
Hey.
sure, man. Make sure. Before we go,
Nothing
guys,
good after 11 o'clock.
yeah. I want you guys to tell us the name of the barbershop and how can we find it.
It's the House of Hoops Barbershop, and we're located at 2504 Little Rock Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28214. That's right by Charlotte Douglas Airport in the Food Lion Shopping Center. We're on the side of the subway by the Chinese restaurant.
How can we find you guys on social media?
House of Hoops Barbershop.
And then my social media is at the BJ Mack on pretty much everything.
So I guess if Pittsburgh or the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna get a free trim, right?
No.
Yeah, because I'm glad you said no. I'm glad you said no because I'm gonna never get a free trim.
I'm giving you free stuff. That's what I said. See, that's that slick tongue right there. But I said, but I'm giving you something.
Hey, I said I'm not putting any. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm not putting anything on my walls. I'm gonna keep it bare.
Man, look at it.
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan.
Don't walls, Craig. Them walls look nice, man. Don't mess up them walls.
He gonna be like every other Cowboy fan. He gonna say that right now. And next week it's gonna be the wall gonna be covered, just like every one of them.
Hey, BJ, I just want to tell you, man, and senior, that's a good investment, man. I always say 3 things that never go out of business: funeral home, taxes, and barbershops.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're gonna be around, man.
Yeah, we need all 3 of those. All 3 of those.
No matter what.
Exactly. Well, gentlemen, I'm glad you guys came on the show. Thank you for coming on and telling your story. I know everybody want to hear this. I really appreciate you guys. God bless and much success to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.
Bless you,
Blessings, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.